This is the Next Take podcast with just me, Tanika, and where we have conversations on different topics. So, this episode is going to be just me, and this is going to be one of our Christmas episodes for our Christmas series. So, for this episode, we're going to be talking about the history of the gift giving, kind of how that came about, why we do it, and I guess kind of the importance of it. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's jump in. So gift giving is an age-old tradition ingrained in cultures around the world and woven into the fabric of human connection. Whether it's a birthday, a holiday, a celebration, or a spontaneous gesture, presents have long been a way to express love, appreciation, gratitude, or even political allegiance. But where did the tradition of gift giving come from? How did it evolve into the multi-billion-dollar industry that it is today? So, ancient roots of gift giving. So, we're going to be going into that. Gift giving is a practice that dates back to ancient civilizations. The earliest records of presents being exchanged are found in cultures such as Mesopotamia, I think so I say it, ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Gifts were often given as part of religious rituals, diplomatic alliances, or to celebrate important milestones. So, for ancient Egypt, it, Egyptians are believed to have given gifts as part of religious observances and celebrations. Pharaohs often received elaborate offerings from their subjects and from other rulers to demonstrate respect or allegiance. These gifts were frequently symbolic, such as gold or precious stones, representing wealth and prosperity. In ancient Greece and in Rome, the Greeks and Romans practiced gift giving as part of their social and political life. In Greece, giving gifts was an essential part of friendship and hospitality. The Roman Empire, too, had a culture of exchanging presents, especially during festivals like Saturnalia, one that we have talked about in our very first Christmas episode, which occurs in December. The celebration honoring the god Saturn involved feasting, revelry, and the giving of gifts among friends and family. In fact, some historians believe that Saturnalia's traditions contributed to the modern day customs of Christmas gift giving. So, religious and royal gifts. In many ancient cultures, gifts were also exchanged to honor deities or royalty. The three wise men in the Christian nativity story, for example, brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the infant Jesus. These gifts were symbolic and represented respect, divinity, and honor. Similarly, in medieval Europe, monarchs and nobles would give and receive lavish presents, often in the form of jewels, land, or valuable goods as a sign of loyalty or favor. During the Middle Ages, gift giving was closely tied to the church and religious festivals. Christmas, which celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, became a major occasion for giving gifts in Europe, though it wasn't until later centuries that the practice became more widespread. The tradition of gift giving during the feast of St. Nicholas, celebrated on December 6th, was an early precursor to modern Christmas gift exchanges. St. Nicholas, the 4th century bishop of Myra, was known for his generosity and was said to have secretly given gifts to the poor. This legend evolved into the, the modern day figure of Santa Claus, whose gift giving became a central part of Christmas traditions. By the Renaissance, the practice of giving gifts had become more secular and personal, especially among the wealthy. Gifts were often lavish and symbolic, such as books, artwork, or rare objects, which represented one's wealth, status, or affection. The Renaissance period also saw the birth of gift giving traditions that involved exchanges between friends and lovers, laying the foundation for today's more personal, thoughtful gifts. The exchange of presents on Christmas underwent significant changes during the 19th century, particularly in Europe and the United States. The Industrial Revolution played a key role in this transformation. With the rise of mass production, items that had once been luxury goods became more affordable and accessible to the general public. So, the Victorian influence. The Victorian era, so from 1837 to 1901, brought about a major shift in how gifts were given, particularly during the Christmas holiday. This period saw a greater emphasis on family, love, and sentiment, leading to the exchange of small personal gifts between loved ones. The Victorians also popularized the idea of wrapping gifts, making the presentation of a present just as important as the gift itself. Christmas cards became a popular addition to the tradition, further embedding the act of giving into the cultural fabric of the holiday. Santa Claus and commercialization, something we've talked about before as well, but we'll talk about this in the Christmas sense. The figure of Santa Claus, inspired by St. Nicholas, who we just talked about, became central to Christmas gift giving in the 19th century, thanks in part to the work of artists like Thomas Nast, who created iconic images of Santa. In the 20th century, with the rise of advertising and commercialism, gift giving became even more entrenched in a holiday culture, with retailers capitalizing on the growing demand for toys, gadgets, and other gifts for Christmas. The modern commercial gift economy. So by the 20th century, gift giving had become an integral part of Christmas celebrations in many cultures, particularly in Western countries. The rise of shopping malls, online stores, and advertising turned gift giving into a significant commercial activity, with the holiday season driving a large portion of retail sales. The tradition of giving presents, especially during Christmas, became a way to express love, goodwill, and generosity, but also a way to boost economic activity. While Christmas has historically been the most significant occasion for gift giving, the practice has spread to other times of the year and events. Today, people exchange presents for birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, weddings, holidays like Valentine's Day, and even as gestures of appreciation in the workplace. The growing diversity of occasions for gift giving reflects a broader cultural trend where gifts are used not just to mark celebrations or particular celebrations, but to maintain relationships, express emotions, and build bonds with others. So, why we still give gifts today? So, the act of giving presents remains a deeply rooted tradition for several reasons. At its core, gift giving is about connection, whether it's celebrating milestones, showing appreciation, or simply making someone smile. Presents serve as tangible expressions of affection and care. The emotional impact of receiving a carefully chosen gift, whether it's a small token or a grand gesture, can create lasting memories and strengthen relationships. In modern times, while the commercial aspect of gift giving has undoubtedly grown, the emotional significance remains. A well thought out gift, no matter the price, communicates thoughtfulness, effort, and a desire to make someone happy. It's this enduring emotional connection that makes the tradition of gift giving continue to thrive across cultures and generations. So, I have a short story for everybody, kind of similar to what I did with the last one. This one is called The Spirit of Giving. This is by an artist named Artist 1989, and it was written about 8 years ago. So, let's get into this. So, snow softly drifted to the ground as shoppers rushed from store to store. buying up anything that was left to give to their loved ones. Cheryl looked around at all the chaos. Over the years, she had slowly lost what had made Christmas special to her. Christmas today seemed overwhelming. People bought gifts to give to each other, expecting a gift in return. They got together for Christmas dinners, but left right after they finished eating. No one seemed to even send cards anymore. She walked down the sidewalk to the next shop, doing it more as routine than anything. She was doing what she did every year. She bought gifts, wrapped gifts, sent out cards, and hosted a holiday dinner at her home. Though her holidays looked and seemed perfect, the feeling wasn't there anymore. Something was missing. But what? After waiting in line for 30 minutes with her items, she walked outside with her bags. She sighed with relief as this was her last stop. Cheryl made her way through the crowded sidewalk to her car. It was dark out now. The street lamps illuminated the falling snow, creating sparkling cones below them. Cheryl grasped her car key and turned it, but nothing happened. She tried a few more times, but her car just wouldn't start. So she left her car and made her way down the sidewalk toward the car repair shop. Though it was only a few blocks away, with all the people flooding the sidewalks, it was going to take her a while to get there. As she slowly made her way down the sidewalk, Cheryl lost herself in her thoughts, thinking about the holidays. She thought about all the gifts she gave people and how underwhelmed they seemed with them, even though she worked hard to get them the perfect gifts. She frowned as she thought about the 2 Christmas cards she had received, even though she had sent out 44. Christmas had lost its meaning. Suddenly, her feet slid out from under her, and she came crashing down onto the icy pavement. People continued walking past her. Some looked and giggled, but for the most part, it seemed like she didn't even exist. Her hand hurt, so she sat there and took off her glove to make sure it was okay. "Are you okay, miss?" Cheryl turned around to see an old man wearing old torn clothing standing next to her. With a warm smile, he held his hand out to her, offering to help her up. His gloves were torn, showing his rough skin through them. She grasped the hand and he helped her stand up. "Thank you so much," she said. "I'm okay. My car won't start, so I just headed over there to see if they can get it running again." "Oh, okay. That's too bad about your car. I hope they fix it for you." "Me too," said Cheryl. She smiled at the man and turned to walk away. "Merry Christmas, miss," he said with cheer. Cheryl couldn't help but smile even wider. "A very Merry Christmas to you too," she said. She watched the old man smile and walk away toward a shopping cart full of plastic bags, blankets, and other items. Her smile faded as she watched him sit down in the snow next to the cart. People walked past him like he wasn't even there. Every now and then, a kid would point at the man. The parents would rush their kids past. She looked at her watch. The car place would close soon, so she rushed there to get her car the attention it needed. They towed her car to the shop. Cheryl waited in the warm waiting room, thinking about the cold old man outside. She thought about his kindness and his cheery attitude. He didn't seem to have a thing in the world, but somehow he seemed happy. All of a sudden, she got an idea. She rushed out into the shop and grabbed the shopping bags out of her car. She went down the street and returned gift after gift to each store and then rushed over to where the old man sat. The sidewalks had fewer people now. The snow sparkled on the ground around him as he looked up at her with a smile. "Can I help you, miss?" Cheryl looked down at him and held out her hand. "Can I treat you to dinner at the cafe?" she asked. "Oh, you don't have to do that," he said. "I want to," she replied. The man's smile widened and he grasped her hand. He stood up and dusted the snow off his tattered jacket. "I just need to grab something in this store," said Cheryl. The old man waited outside as she ran in. Cheryl purchased a new jacket, gloves, and other winter apparel for the man. She also purchased a few gift cards to local restaurants. Cheryl bounced out of the shop, smiling, and handed the items to the man. "Here, these are for you," she said. The man looked at her in awe. "You really didn't have to do that," he said. Cheryl looked at the man and smiled. "You were kind enough to lend me a hand when I needed it. so I wanted to return the favor." The old man smiled merrily, and the two of them walked through the glistening wonderland together. As they walked toward the little cafe, she looked over at the old man and felt something she hadn't in years. The spirit of Christmas and the spirit of giving were set ablaze in her heart once again. She felt a warmth in her soul that was indescribable. This was it, she thought. This was why the old man was so happy. Though he had little to give, he gave what he could, his kindness. And that's the story. And that's this episode. So this ends episode 159 of the Next Tape Podcast. Next Tape Podcast can be found at our website, which is nexttapepodcast.podpage.io. And you can also find us at Facebook and Instagram at Next Tape Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Tape Pod. You can also email us at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. That is mikeltanyka@gmail.com. So again, we talked about the history of gift giving, talked about, where the history of gift giving kind of started and where it came from. And we ended it off with a really nice story at the end there about the true meaning of gift giving. But that is it for this episode. So again, I'm Tanyka, and it's only me. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.